Hello and welcome to LadeyNews, Africa's Voice, Africa's Future, bringing you stories that matter from Nigeria and outside the country. And now let's check what's trending. CAN condemns fake preachers over failed rapture prophecy. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has decried the activities of false prophets after a South African pastor, Joshua Malaki, mislead followers with a failed rapture prediction. He announced that the biblical event would take place between Tuesday, September 23rd and Wednesday, September 24th. Many who trusted his words are now reeling in disappointment, with some lamenting the loss of jobs, homes, and possession in preparation for the so-called rapture. Though the doctrine of rapture remains a long-standing Christian belief, that Christ will return for his church after the trumpet sound, numerous failed predictions by self-styled preachers have often left devastating consequences for their followers. Now let's take you to Russia, where Russia strikes leaves 10 injured in Ukraine. Ukraine reports on Sunday that Russia launched a large-scale overnight assault using hundreds of missiles and drones, injuring at least 10 people. The bombardment also forced neighboring Poland to scramble fighter jets to safeguard their airspace. The attacks came after Moscow cautioned NATO against stronger measures over alleged airspace violation. The strike coincided with President Volodymyr Zelensky's disclosure that Israel has supplied Kyiv with a US-manufactured Patriot air defense system to counter Russian offensives. 19 deaths linked to alcohol poisoning in Russia. Authorities of Russia's western region confirmed on Friday that at least 19 people have died this month from suspected alcohol poisoning. The regional government noted that 8 of the deaths were confirmed cases of methanol poisoning. The tragedy underscores a recurring issue in Russia, where mass casualties from consuming cheap, unsafe alcohol alternatives remain common due to high level of alcoholism. And now back to Nigeria. Dangote refinery, union clash over labor crisis. The 20 billion naira Dangote petroleum refinery is embroiled in a standoff with the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. The union had instructed its members across 7 oil gas firms to cut crude oil and gas supplies to the refinery, citing the dismissal of 800 workers who allegedly lost their jobs for joining the association. Pengassan further accused the refinery for hiring illegal expatriates from India to operate in Nigeria's strategic energy industry. In response, Dangote management dismissed the directive as unlawful and an act of economic sabotage. Peter Obi explains Olubadan's congratulatory message. Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has defended his congratulatory note to the new Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rasheed Ladoja, after facing criticism online. In his goodwill message, Peter Obi referred to the monarch as "my dear elder brother," a phrase many consider disrespectful to Yoruba traditional institution. The backlash, which included comments from former President Reno Omokri, described the wordings as culturally insensitive. Obi later clarified his remarks, stressing that no disrespect was intended towards the revered throne. ADC candidate raises alarm over vote buying in Anambra. African Democratic Congress governorship hopeful John Nwosu has called on the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, to tighten measures against vote buying in the upcoming Anambra election. Nwosu warned that if the malpractice persists, it could undermine the credibility of the November 8, 2025 governorship poll. He is among the 16 candidates cleared by INEC in its June 4 announcement to contest, including incumbent Governor Chukwuma Soludo of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA. Peace returns to Rivers after Wike Fubara's reconciliation. Rivers State political landscape is witnessing a new chapter following the reconciliation between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor, now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Their truce-ended months of intense political conflict has pushed the state under a 6-month emergency rule, which President Bola Tinubu lifted on September 17. Governor Fubara described the peace accord as a defining moment, adding that genuine peace has now returned to the oil-rich state after months of turbulence. And that's all we have for you today from LadeyNews. Thank you for staying tuned and see you next time.